Hey, what's happening YouTube? Here I am with the Ae86. I have some more information about this setup that I have. This is a SR5 converted into the 4AG with side draft Weber carburetors. I had some other videos where I was like towing and showing how to do some of the wiring, and this thing is finally running. I will not be running it today. If you want to see it running, go onto my channel, check out the videos I have on the car running. This thing is too loud, and it'd be hard for me to do the video when trying to start the car being so loud. Anyways, but so for those who haven't seen the car, I'm gonna re-explain what I did. I'm gonna try to be quick. If you guys have any questions, please comment or send me a message, and I will try to help you guys with the things I did with this setup. Like I said, this is an SR5 coupe. As you can see, the has a 4AG motor now. Used to have the 4AZ motor. Now it has this setup. So I'm gonna be quick. So because I did the GTS motor pretty much into the SR5, I end up doing Weber carburetors, so that way I don't have to use the computer for the GTS. Although I have the wiring for the SR5 going on, the reason why I'm doing that is so I can keep the control of my lights, turning signals, and things like that. And you pretty much can put this motor in this car without really touching much of this wiring. And I'm gonna explain things. The starter, it's pretty much the same starter as it goes on the 4AZ, for the 4AC motor. So the plugs will go right in. For the alternator, all I did is just stand the cable all the way, and the SR5 plug will plug right into the alternator without a problem, and it will work. It's working for me. All I did is just stand in the cables that were from here all the way to the alternator on the other side. SR5 uses the alternator on this side, so the wires are a little bit shorter. So that's it. I'm using an electric fan, as you know. Know if you do a fan like that, you can just put it separately, wire separately, and use a switch, which that's what I'm doing. I have a switch for the fan, and I have a switch for this fuel pump. This fuel pump, it's a AutoZone fuel pump, AutoZone filter, and the regulator. They all came from the same store, and it's pretty cheap. Although for that fuel pump, you had to get the one that it's for imports. I don't know. When I did my research, it said that you need to get it, which I did, and it's working for me. For the original fuel pump on the SR5, it's still in the car. I did not touch anything back there. I guess when you turn the switch on, that fuel pump is still sending fuel to this one and this one to the carburetor. So far, no problems. It might burn the GTS, I mean the SR5 fuel pump that's still there, the sending unit and stuff. But so far, I haven't had a problem. Starts and it provides good gasoline without a problem. So that's pretty much it. That's still being the original fuel filter. As you can see, I just stopped from there to this filter. As you can see, that's it. I didn't really behind that point on the fuel. I just grab it from there, and that's the little setup. So that's pretty simple. Like I said, I don't know if it's, yeah, there. That's it. This cable runs all the way to power line and the switch, and ground it, and then there you go. For ignition still, you know, the 4AG setup with the same distributor. I know there's many setups that you can do, but this is how I did it, and it's working for me. Simple. I have an MSD. This is a 6ALN. It's for like NASCAR cars. but it's working. I will not tell you how to do the wiring in this thing because the colors on my bots were completely different from most let's say L bots, which that's most likely what you're gonna find. These things are not that easy to find. I just found it on Craigslist and pick it up. I have the red limiter, 7800 RPMs. Pretty good. So this thing setups is on. It has power straight up from right here. This is just ground. As you can see, you have to have a really good ground. It's not focusing, but you have to have a really good ground. So it's just ground, and this goes all the way to my starter where I'm getting power from the battery, and that's it. I just tap it into that. So for this box, all you have to have is power, which is there. You have to have a cable that goes to the ignition switch to get signal when you're trying to start the car, and then the cables that will be going to your coil and the cables that will be going to your distributor. You can see black and yellow used for my coil. This is a coil 2 MSD Master 2 MSD. Same thing. That thing, it's all, I don't know. I just picked up the coil and the bots for $80. How can you beat that? And they're working. So yeah, so that's the coil. Pretty simple setup. These cables will go to your MSD bots. It's a pretty simple setup with the MSD. And for magnetic pickups, I use the red and the white cables. As you can see, that's it. Just go right in, and this is I don't know if you can see, green and black cable goes all the way, comes back, and I'm getting signal from the MSD, or that cable is giving signals to the MSD, because that's really what happens. So this right here is no I had them like that. It's not like how I'm gonna have it set up. I just had them like that because I wasn't too sure. Like I said, these colors were different from all the diagrams I found online, so I was kind of like switching the cables around. I finally got them to work, so that's why they like that. They're easy to pull and put back on, but eventually I'm gonna solder those cables. I said right now, I just wanted the car to start and work. So that's pretty much it on the whole wiring and the fuel. That was it. Back there, I show you just like inside the car. Here inside the car, screwdriver starts the car. When you gonna start the car, you turn your fuel. Right now the battery, it's not connected, so it will not go. I'm just trying to show you. So fuel, fans, and then start the car, and that's it. This cable, it's for my volt meter right there. Just needs to this cable, if you don't know how to connect one of these volt meters, you just tap this into any place where you get a 12 volt signal. So you tap into there and it goes to ground, and that's how you'll be reading how many volts, water, and oil. So I'll show you those where I set up those up. And this is where I set up the water temperature. All the fittings that the company that make those meters, the gauges, provide with all the hardware, and just bolt right on. For the oil, here's my oil little hose for the pressure. But I don't know if you guys can see, it's kind of dark, but see this bolt, that's where you tap into it and get the signal. But somehow the thread on that thing was messed up, and I wasn't getting a good seal, so I end up re-tapping that, putting that bolt, and I'm gonna be getting the oil pressure signal from a sandwich plate that I'll be doing on the oil filter, but not yet. I said right now I'll be fine. I can move the car like that. There's no leaks or anything. So yeah, that's pretty much it. Like I say, the original GTS wire harness still in the car. I didn't really tap into it. Like I say, the starter goes right in. The plug here on the alternator, you just had to make it longer, extended, and that's about it. This is I think one of the simplest setup that you can do to make a 4AG motor run. Although when I was trying to get the car to start, I ended up facing a whole bunch of issues. For one, the timing here, the gears inside the distributor, they were not properly put into the motor. They were like a little bit off, so I couldn't get like pretty much the timing was off, the ignition timing, and end up removing the distributor. I'm saying that because for those who haven't seen my other videos, this motor I bought it from some guy, and the motor he say he rebuilt it from the bottom top. I did believe the guy. I opened the valve covers and that looked pretty good. The motor seems to be healthy and everything, so I guess he did rebuild the whole motor. Anyways, but because I didn't know if that was true or not, that the motor was rebuilt. Like I said, I just bought it, so I just trust the guy, thinking that the distributor, the distributor was put the right way. And once I had the carburetors on, I was cranking and cranking, and I had the spark, and I had the I didn't have spark at that time. Then I finally got it to get spark because my wires were wrong, but the spark wasn't the wrong timing, so the car wasn't starting. Another thing, these carburetors are from 1969, so they were really old. They were like super dirty, and I ended up making this little wall piece of metal here so I can have a nice aisle, because like I say, these things were old or are old, and they were on a BMW 2002. So the throttle system on that car is completely different, and I end up like customizing the throttle for all these carburetors to make it work with my setup. This crazy little guy, as you can see, just a bracketing, but it's because I'm using the SR5 cable. As you can see, super stretched, and it's super hard. But obviously I need to change it to the GTS or a universal one or something. But the way this thing works, this thing pulls. You see that? So that's how it works. But it's kind of hard. So, but I mean, it works. It does the job. It makes me move the car around. It lets me move the car. It's now like the final setup. Like I said, I had to put the GTS cable there. But that's pretty much it. That's the only thing I did to the car as of right now. The car has open headers. That's why I was saying it's too loud, and I do not want to start it and just be super loud. But yeah, so if anybody wants to do this swap, I do recommend it to anybody who wants to do it. It's not that hard as you think. It does cost a little bit of money, but you had to pay to play. You had to pay. So yeah, it's not a cheap setup. You probably can maybe buy like a beams motor for the same amount of money that it cost me to put this thing together. But obviously this is the legit way of doing this old school car. The beams is just a newer motor. You can do the 20 bulbs, which is pretty nice. Too. Nothing against that or anything, but just something with the Weber carburetors. The sound, and that's why I went for that setup. Another one, it was how easy was gonna do the swap with Weber carburetors. But yeah, so I really hope you guys like the setup I have here. I hope you guys follow me and give us a like. This car, you know, obviously I'm gonna keep working on it. I'm gonna paint it. I'm gonna finish it. The engine situation, you know, all I wanted is the car to start, which she did. I'm gonna try to get all the little things finished so I can start driving the car and take it to a couple of events. But eventually, I don't think this year, but after this season of drifting and track for the 2017 year, maybe by the next year we'll be painting the car. The car, it's mine and my son's, mainly my son's, but my son it's only 12, so we got it as a project and we both been working on it. Every time I do videos, it's only me. For those who has seen my other videos, if you see the boy who slammed this hood, that's my boy. That's the owner of the car. I got super pissed because he did that. But yeah. So if you want to keep following the life of this car, please, you know, subscribe, like, share, and I hope you guys like it. I hope you guys get a good information. If you guys have more questions, please just send me a message and I will try to help you as much as I can. Like I say, I'm not a professional mechanic, but you know, I like to do this kind of stuff. So thank you guys and see you guys next time. Alright, thank you.